Hey YouTube, it's me Patrick again. First of all, before I get into the details of this video, I'd like to thank everybody that watched the first two videos that I posted. I understand that the videos were a little bit long. 45 seconds is way too long for anybody to sit in front of a video. So the fact that close to 100 people have already done that, it means a lot to me. And I appreciate that you guys took the time to view my opinions on how I think the NBA is going to pan out this season. There was a lot more things that I wanted to get into. I didn't get a chance to elaborate on all the pieces that some of the teams had. But like I said, 45 minutes already was just pushing the line, and I just decided to make that the cutoff time. I promise that in the future, I'm not going to make any more videos that's 45 minutes long. If it's 45 minutes long, it has to be something monumental happened. Somebody had to have broken a long-standing record, or I don't know, an 8th seed wins a championship, something like that. But from now, I'm going to probably make the videos closer to 15, 10, 20 minutes. In this video, I'm going to discuss the New York Giants. New York Giants are my favorite football team since 2005. This is the 9th season that I've been covering them closely. This year, obviously, is not one of the Giants' best seasons. It's actually one of the worst. On the Giants, you have key pieces like Eli Manning, Victor Cruz, Hakeem Nicks, Jason Pierre-Paul, Antrel Rowe, Justin Tuck, and Prince Amukamara. And those, I think, are the best players on the team at the moment. This season, the New York Giants started the year out 0-6. 0-6 is a big hole to fight from, no matter how talented or how experienced your team may be. At the beginning of the season, in the very first game, we played the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. The very first pass that Eli Manning threw this season was intercepted. That kind of gave me like a foreboding and a sign of things to come. I'm not superstitious. I promise you I'm not. I don't believe in ghosts or fairy tales. But, you know, you got the feeling that this was just going to be a year where Eli was going to turn the football over constantly just off that miscue. And it kind of got reaffirmed on the very second possession that we had. We moved the ball a little bit. And the first handoff of the season, David Wilson fumbled the football. It wasn't a very, very pretty sight to see in Dallas that night. That was the first time that we lost in Dallas since they opened up their new stadium. The crazy thing about that game, the Giants could have won that game. They turned the ball over 6 times, and they still had a chance to win. After the 5th turnover had occurred, the Giants were knocking on the door. They were driving down the field, and they were going to take the lead. But Eli Manning tried to throw a screen pass to Darrell Scott, and Darrell Scott didn't turn his head around in time. For what reason, I do not know. I guess he thought he was supposed to be blocking when he obviously had no blocking assignment. He should have just turned around and gotten ready for the football. And it was tipped off his hands, and Brandon Carr intercepted the ball, and that kind of sealed the game off. The only reason Darrell Scott was in there in the first place was because David Wilson had fumbled the football twice already that day. And the turnovers this year for the Giants have just been excruciatingly painful. The following week, we played the Denver Broncos. At halftime, the Giants were actually leading against the Broncos. The defense stood tall. They didn't allow Peyton Manning to go off with his receivers. They had a very good zone scheme that they implemented. But Eli Manning, unfortunately, threw an interception off miscommunication, I believe. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt right before the halftime. And that just subsequently led to more and more interceptions in the second half. And we saw a 10-9 lead turn into a blowout. The following week, I believe we played the Kansas City Chiefs. No, we played the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers, that was the low point of the entire season. The Carolina Panthers came out and they dominated us from start to finish. The O-line didn't block well at all. Eli Manning was sacked, I think, 5 times before the end of the first half. The D-line was just not spirited in the second half. They did their best to contain the team to 17 points in the first half, but the offense just couldn't generate anything. Following week, we played the Kansas City Chiefs. Giants came out much better and consistent, but the lack of a consistent running game has been shooting ourselves in the foot, and because of that, we have not been able to use the play action to its effectiveness, and that has eliminated almost every single deep pass that we've attempted this season. The Chiefs are, I believe, a very solid football team offensively and a great team defensively. They have key pieces like Justin Houston, who I felt was a little bit overrated last year, and he's making me eat my words this year. He's playing out of his mind. Derek Johnson, very consistent linebacker. They have a cornerback in Brandon Flowers, who was the better of the two between Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr when Brandon Carr was still in Kansas City, and he's still proven to be an elite cornerback. They have an all-pro safety in Eric Berry, who's rebounded nicely after he had an ACL injury 2 years ago. On offense, the team is built to not throw away games. They have the Jamal Charles, who's one of the fastest running backs in the league, and he has a very, very complete skill set. And Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over. And with all the adversity that the Giants had faced, being 0-3 and coming into the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, they actually held their own for a little bit. I don't think we ever led in the game, but the game was very competitive until the fourth quarter, and that's when things just started to spiral out of control. The O-line, like I said before, they couldn't maintain the edge. We couldn't get any ground in the running game. And Hakeem Nicks was not able to get any separation from Brandon Flowers. After we played the Chiefs, we ended up going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the team that I absolutely abhor the most in the NFL. I can't stand the Eagles. I've never liked them. It's just intensified since 2010 when we had a chance to make the playoffs and win the division, and they beat us and overcame a 21-point deficit with 7 minutes left in the game. I still don't know how that's possible, but it happened. And in that game, the Giants came out, again, much better than they had the previous week. And they took the lead. They scored 7 points early on the first drive of the game. And then they subsequently fell flat on their face every single possession after that in the first half and allowed 16 straight points for the Philadelphia offense. Second half, they rebounded nicely and they took the lead for a short stretch. And when the Eagles went up by, I think, 2 points or 1, the Giants had a chance to go down the field and match them. And the offense was in fluid rhythm. Hakeem Nicks looked great. Victor Cruz looked great. He always looks great against the Eagles. I don't know what it is. And there was this one play where it really changed the entire game. Eli Manning was sacked. Well, he was in the process of getting sacked, and he released the ball. And the ball was intercepted and taken back for a very, very beneficial gain for the Philadelphia Eagles offense. On the play that Eli Manning was in the process of getting sacked, he was hitting the helmet, and the referee did not call anything. I don't know how he did not see that while he was standing behind the line of scrimmage, but those are plays that Eli just has to take the sack sometimes, and he just does not show he does not show a tendency to keep the football when he's under duress. He tries to make a play when nothing's there really, and that really hurts us sometimes. You don't want to take that away from him because he knows how to get out of sticky situations and turn them into nothing, as you've seen in the first Super Bowl that the Giants won, or when they defeated the undefeated New England Patriots. He was in the process of getting sacked, and he escaped, and he heaved the ball down the field. David Tyree, and I still think that's the greatest catch in Super Bowl history. You can't top that play, really. And the Giants ended up losing that game, unfortunately. And offense just, after that first turnover, Eli Manning, I think, threw consecutive interceptions on the following 2 drives, and that was really just all she wrote. Going into the Thursday night game with the Chicago Bears, the Bears were obviously a little bit dinged up, and we had a chance to come out there and establish ourselves as still being very much alive, despite being 0-5. And we had a golden opportunity to knock off the Chicago Bears while they were trying to keep pace in the NFC North as well. And during the game, the first pass of the game, Eli Manning was intercepted by Bowman on a miscommunication with Ruben Randle. Ruben Randle's looked really nice this year, but he's had a penchant for cutting off his routes, and that's led to a lot of Eli Manning's interceptions this year. Second possession, Eli Manning threw a pick 6 to Tim Jennings. And the first interception Eli Manning threw, the defense held very, very, very firmly at the goal line, and they did not allow a touchdown. That was a very positive sign. But it was just negated by the pick 6 that Eli threw on the following possession. And, you know, in that game, the Giants' O-line looked more complete than it had the entire season. They held Julius Peppers in check with double teams. They didn't allow the opposite end on the line. I'm not familiar with who it is. I apologize for that. But they didn't allow him to get any pressure on Eli Manning. And, you know, they were in the game the entire time. Brandon Jacobs surprised the hell out of me. Brandon Jacobs ran like it was 2007 again, or 2008, when he was running for 1,000 yards during the season. He eclipsed 100 yards for the first time since we played the Dallas Cowboys in the following year, I believe. I mean, the previous year, not the following. I apologize. The previous year. And at the end of the game, once again, the Giants had an opportunity to win the game like they did in Week 1. And they were driving and they were getting close to the red zone. And Eli Manning threw a pass, and it was a little bit high. But when he threw the pass, it hit Brandon Myers straight in the hands, and it got tipped. And Tim Jennings had his second interception of the day, and Eli Manning had his third of the night. And the Giants ended up losing that game. And that game was just an absolute killer, because the rest of the division had been playing mediocre football, and winning that game would have put us right back in contention. Obviously, that game gave the Giants some confidence that they could work with an offense, and they finally got their first win of the season against the Minnesota Vikings. And against the Minnesota Vikings, the Giants held Adrian Peterson in check for the entire night, and I'd like to attribute that to the acquisition of John Beeson. With John Beeson, the Giants have held Matt Forte, LaShawn McCoy, Adrian Peterson, all top-tier running backs in the NFL, to 67 or fewer rushing yards. The rush defense has looked incredibly stout in the past couple of weeks. He's done a very good job of communicating what the team needs to do on defense and getting everybody's assignments correctly. And a secondary has not been allowing big plays. They've been very, very great tackling when the receiver catches the football and not allowing a lot of, I'd say, momentum shifters to occur. And Antro Rowe's been doing a stellar job with that. And Ryan Mundy, we acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has been playing very, very well in the absence of Stevie Brown. He's not the ball hawk that Stevie Brown was. Stevie Brown had 8 interceptions, I believe. But Ryan Mundy is a very solid tackler. He's in position most of the time to break up passes if he's not there to intercept the ball. And the secondary looks good overall. Terrell Thomas is rebounding very nicely from the 2 back-to-back ACL surgeries that he had. I was very devastated when I heard the news, and it happened the second time. But I'm glad to see him playing football. And the Giants in the last 2 games have not allowed the opposing team that they've played to score a touchdown on offense. They've allowed scores because of special teams, and special teams has been a glaringly alarming factor in the course of the entire season. They've allowed a punt return to Trenton Holiday, Cordarrelle Patterson. They've allowed a touchdown last week when the snap was too high, and for whatever reason, Weatherford did not kick the ball out of bounds and get a safety instead of a touchdown, and that the Eagles they recovered the ball in the end zone, and that was the only score they had of the day. But the defense has been playing extremely well. The defense has not allowed any scores in the past 2 games, touchdown or field goal, and they have not allowed a touchdown in the past 2 games in 2 quarters. So that's a very positive sign of what John Beeson brings to the table. This week, the Giants are on a bye, and Eli Manning, the last 2 weeks, has not thrown any interceptions. He still leads the league in interceptions off the first couple of weeks that he had. They were very, very, very devastating to the team. But if he can keep taking care of the football and be consistent in his approach with Ruben Randall, and they can get the communication issues that they seem to have together, the Giants can actually sneak back into the playoff picture. It sounds wishful thinking. There's no way that this Giants team is going to run the table. I'm not predicting that. But 8-8 or 9-7 looks like a reality. And with the way that the division has been playing right now, the winner of the division might be 8-8. The Giants have 2 division losses and 1 win. If they can win out in the division alone and win a couple games here and there, they can be in very great shape to make the postseason. And once the New York Giants make the postseason, there is nobody in the NFL that's going to stop them. Eli Manning just turns into a different player in the postseason. He doesn't commit any mistakes. The last 2 years that Eli Manning has been in the postseason, he's thrown for 2 interceptions, I believe, over 2,000 yards passing. And let's see. I'm sorry, I have not calculated the stats. I did not think I was going to be bringing this up. I did not think I was going to be talking about postseason. Okay. 3. Well, he's thrown around 11 touchdowns. And, this team is it's not built for the postseason this year. There's a lot of holes still in the team. The team's not getting pressure. They're not getting the big plays that they normally get down the field in the passing game. They can't run block. They've had some good run blocking games, but there hasn't been much running room at all. And this team is just really, really underachieved. At the moment, it looks like they might be able to run the table. Coming out of the bye, they played the Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders, one of the best running teams in football. Terrell Pryor looks very poised in the pocket. He's proving to be a very capable pocket passer. But last week he threw for 88 yards. And even though they won the game, I think the Giants can contain Terrell Pryor coming off a bye and with a solid game plan, and they can exploit that defense. The rest of the season is going to be significantly more, I'd say, easier compared to the teams that we had to play in the beginning of the year. They still have a showdown with Dallas that might decide the division. They still have to play Washington twice, and Washington is not playing very good football at all. They have to play San Diego, they have to play Green Bay, and they still have to play Detroit. Green Bay, to be honest, Green Bay doesn't really pose a threat, in my opinion, to me, and it shouldn't to any other person that is the Giants fan. The last 2 times that the Giants have played Green Bay, we flat out embarrassed them and dominated them in every facet of the game. And we're not playing them in Lambeau Field, we're playing them in New York. So even though Aaron Rodgers probably recognizes that the Giants give him trouble, I don't see him doing anything to negate the pass rush that the Giants are going to bring against them. Even though the pass rush has not been as great as it's been in years past, but there's been improvement in the past couple of years. There's been definitely improvement. Uh, in my opinion, the Giants are not going to make the postseason. They'll be lucky to finish 7-9. That would be a very, very, I'd say, consolation. A very nice consolation for starting out the year 0-6, and that would show to me that they did not tuck their tail between their legs and cower down when things got tough. They fought towards the end of the season. They did everything they possibly could to remain in playoff contention, but they just shot themselves in the foot too much early in the year with turnovers. And the following weeks, now that I've elaborated everything I need to say about the Giants, I'm going to be dropping videos on key games during the NBA and the NFL season. So, like I said before, I would appreciate it if you guys subscribed if you like my opinions. If I say something and you take offense to it or you find intriguing, like I said, just mention me on Twitter at Portrait of Sports, and I will be happy to entertain any inquiries that you have towards me. This NFL season has been shaping up to be record-breaking. Peyton Manning, I think, is on pace to throw about 52 touchdowns. He's going to break the record. I believe the Broncos are currently the best team in football despite their record. The coach just played them really well. And I look forward to dropping more and more videos, and I look forward to getting more and more viewers and people that appreciate me taking the time out of my day to drop more videos and more insightful NFL opinions and NBA opinions to you guys. And thanks for watching, and drop a like if you like the video. God bless.